How's it going, everybody? Back again with another video. As again I said, I was going to be very active on here, so oh God, hold on, let me just adjust that a little bit. Sorry guys. Boom, there we go, that should do it. As I said, I'm going to be quite active on this again because, you know, with the Instagram algorithm, what's the point of uploading like 30 to 90 seconds, you know, of video? What I want to do is give a very detailed description of my recovery. And with 10 years of it, I have so many stories. So what I'm going to be doing is every couple of days, I'm just going to be uploading anxiety recovery stories. You know, the type of things that happen to me that are just sometimes funny, sometimes quite depressing sometimes. But I think it's important to share those depressing moments, you know, because there's a lot of people who are feeling the depression because of what they're going through. So it's very important for me to share my part of that. So there's all ranges of emotions that I went through, ups and downs, and yeah, you know, it's the emotions that you go through is crazy. You know, it's such an up and down cycle, and no wonder then people start to think they have mental illnesses like bipolar and stuff like that. And yeah, so it can wreak havoc upon your life, obviously. But listen, I'm gonna be creating what's called just anxiety recovery stories, and I want to share something with you today. And basically what I'm going to title it is Panic Attack in Dublin versus having a panic attack in Paris. So let me explain a little bit about that. So, you know, as you know, that the 10-year disorder that took over my life, I was obviously at my worst when I was stuck in agoraphobia for ages 20, probably around 24 to 28. And basically the last 3 to 4 years of my disorder, I stayed living in a 3 kilometer radius. You know, can you imagine that? You know, for 4 years it was like a mental prison. I didn't go further than 3 kilometers from home, so very, very debilitating. And I won my freedom back. I won my freedom back around, obviously, in Dublin. You know, going places and going on a train or on a plane didn't even come into my mind back then. I knew that was just virtually impossible, so that didn't even enter my mind. So, we're going to get into the detailed description of what it was like having a panic attack in Dublin compared to eventually having one in Paris. Because when I came to Paris for the first time in 2019, that was one of my fears. Although I hadn't had a panic attack in probably around 5 to 6 months maybe. And that was, I used to have them multiple times a day, okay? So I thought to myself, right, okay, I've had panic attacks in Dublin, but what? So I was basically recovered here, okay, guys. I was ready to get on a plane, okay. So my recovery, I have a tight grasp on my recovery right now. I feel fantastic, but there's still that fear. What if I panic in Paris? I've never experienced that. Yeah, I've experienced it in panic, but what if this is different? And that's the key. That's what people think all the time. What if it's different? You know, what if this, sorry, let me fix the light on that because the sun went down a little bit. There we go. So guys, basically, that's what everyone thinks, whether it's in a different country or in agoraphobia, whether it's 5 miles from home, you know, where you're totally out of your comfort zone. This big barrier and resistance that you built up, that an area basically where you say, I'm not going to be able to cope being in that situation. I can have panic attacks around my local areas and deal with them, but if I go into that zone, all hell's gonna break loose. I'm really gonna die there, have a heart attack there, collapse, all the fears that manifest. So you never go there. You miss out on life. So I thought, obviously, that was in my mind of, yeah, you know, I've done basically have my life back in Dublin, but I'm going to Paris now. What if I panic over there? Shit. So that was on my mind. Anyway, I felt so good then, but that was in the back of my mind. I got on the plane that day, obviously literally still to this day, it was in 2019, still the best day in my life. I'll never ever forget it. Every time I speak about it, I cannot wipe the smile. I feel the surge of just happiness come in me. I can never wipe the smile on my face when I think of that moment. It's the best day in my whole entire life. I had my freedom back, guys. I got on a plane for the first time in 10 years. Like 5 to 6 months prior, I couldn't leave my house and go a mile from home. It's crazy. but I put the work in correctly. But anyway, I remember that was my mindset of, oh yeah, I feel great, I'm ready to do this, I'm strong enough, I'm strong mentally, I'm able to get on this plane now, I'm going to meet my girlfriend for the first time. But I always thought, what it's going to be like in panic, if I panic. But I didn't, I literally was in such a great mindset, I didn't care. So I went there I booked a ticket over and I never booked a ticket back because I didn't know how long I wanted to stay or whatever, or how long I'd manage over there. It was my first holiday and the first time on a plane in 10 years, guys, so I just took it day by day. So I booked my ticket over then and I ended up lasting a week, at 6 days I think. And then I booked my ticket home then at the best time my whole entire life. And when I went back to Dublin then, guys, it was, no panic, no anxiety. I put such strong fundamental work in Dublin for months and months and months to build up, to be able to get to this point where my mind is so mentally strong that I don't fear panic, that I don't care if I have a panic attack. That then led me to be in Paris, and I had the best 6 days of my life. When I went back to Dublin then, I got my full-time job back, I trained really hard in the gym, I went even further than places in Dublin, and it was magic. But, so what happened then was, so I went in October for the first time to Paris, and I felt so good, I said, I'm booking it again next month. So I booked it in, my first one was in October, and I booked it again for November. Again, what if I panic over there? You see what I'm trying, you see that, like, although I have this full recovery, it's still like, yeah, but I haven't had a panic attack in Paris. I wonder what that would feel like. Went over then in November, okay? And I went for 2 weeks this time. So there was if there's gonna be, going for 6 days and going for 2 weeks is different, okay, in an anxious person's mind, because there was still little niggly bits of, the past 10 years, okay? So again, I went for 2 weeks, best time of my life again, no panic, no nothing. Go home. November time, I go again next month, on a plane again. I went every single month from October, November, January, February, I think March. I went again in December for I think 10 days, and I came back on like the 24th. I went over on like, I don't know, whatever, and then I came back on the 24th or the 23rd of December to celebrate with my family in Dublin. But I had my first panic attack, okay, and let me tell you how it went. My apartment here, where we stay, obviously, there's a bed beside me. It was in that exact bed. So I'm asleep at night and I wake up. And I have this real rush of adrenaline, okay? The first time in Paris, I feel this panic coming on. And at the split second, it was scary. And it was so, I'm trying to think back now, like, it was so surreal because I haven't felt that rush in so long. And here it is. Here's the moment that I almost dreaded, a panic attack in Paris. Well, back then and right now, I call these adrenaline rushes. So I'm just using the word panic attack for you guys who don't understand the terminology that I use now and what you should be using. I had an adrenaline rush. I had a surge of adrenaline through my body, lying on this exact bed here. And I remember then thinking about my tools or whatever. I just lay in bed. I did not move. I didn't jump out of bed. I didn't freak out. I lay in bed and I thought, wow, this is my first adrenaline rush in Paris. And I just let the whole thing just wash over me. I remember just lying in bed and I actually shut my eyes. Okay, I could feel all this adrenaline come through my body. I could feel some catastrophic thinking trying to creep in, trying to tell me you're far away from home, trying to tell me you have heart attack and stuff like that, yeah? I closed my eyes in bed and listen, I was shaking a little bit. I was like trembling, you could see me trembling, I could feel myself trembling. 5-6 minutes passed, guys, and it's gone. And when that went, and I didn't react, there was a form of extreme happiness inside me, like oh, I had my first panic attack in Paris, and I managed it, and because I didn't know how I was going to react to that moment of having one in Paris. And again, that added to my recovery. I was like, yeah, yes. I was so happy that happened, and I didn't react, and this, and this, and this. And it was just brilliant. And that's what I want to share with you guys. That's that feeling of, what's the difference with having a panic attack in a different country? You're safe no matter where you are. I know maybe there's past traumas, or there's codependent issues to the person that you leave, your safe person, and without them you feel that you're gonna just die or burst out or go crazy because you haven't got that person, and you can't even, there's no way you can get to them. It's those moments that you reach your freedom, when you go through those type of panic attacks, adrenaline rushes, when you can't get to these things and those places, and then you have that adrenaline rush and it washes out of you and you deal with it the correct way. Those are where you find true, permanent, lasting freedom. And when I had that adrenaline rush and panic, I felt fantastic. I felt great. I was so happy that I got it out of the way, and this is what it felt like. But in order to experience the panic or the adrenaline the way I experienced it that day, you have to remember the fundamental work I put in months prior to that made me react in that way. My self-confidence, all these things. Because it's very hard to react so correctly in the positive manner. It's so hard to do that when you don't have your confidence built up from trying to recover the correct way, and you've built up more small successes. It's so hard to react positively to panic when maybe you're at the start of recovery. You're still going to be flooded with these bangs of panic, and it's going to be hard to react that way. So I'm coming off the back of months, at least 5, 6, 7, 8 months of recovery the correct way, and I've got rid of all those anxious safety behaviors. I got rid of them for months. That hold on it is gone, and I've developed this grasp on these things that support me, and this mindset that has developed within me, and this courage and this almost lethargy towards fear, like I don't care anymore. So I built up a long couple of months to be able to deal with that in Paris. So I hope I explained that the best way I can, that we have this horrific fear that, especially agoraphobics with lots of safety behaviors built into them over the years, and safe people, that when we're away from that and there's no escape, virtually no escape, guys, we can't get back to the place or the person for hours, that's something, I'm gonna go just nuts, I'm gonna go crazy, I'm gonna have that heart attack. And we just avoid those places for so long. And that's, in order to get to the place where I was and I am now, it takes months of work, not years. It takes a couple of months to get rid of all that anxious behavior, all that anxious software. Just, you have to feed that out of your system and out of your mind, and then in comes the new, and you just live off a different software. You live off a different habits, different behaviors, and that's what it's all about. You're suffering, with a behavioral condition, And I hope this video, I'm going to be telling lots of anxiety stories, but that's what I'm going to title this: panic attack in Dublin compared to in Paris. You're safe anywhere, guys. You are your own safe place. No matter where you are having that panic attack, it's always going to be the same. Of course there's levels to it, but the highest level of panic you've already felt. There's no worse. Scientifically, biologically, there's no worse. Fight and flight is fight and flight. You're continuously in that zone if you haven't built up any of your coping mechanisms, or whatever you want to call it, or any sort of recovery tactics, or whatever you want to call it. If you haven't built up them yet, and you're in those situations, hell yeah, it's damn worse. Hell yeah, you'll be spiked with adrenaline for a couple of hours, you know, but you'll still calm down eventually, okay? But listen, I hope that was somewhat helpful for people out there. Having a panic attack in Dublin compared to Paris, even though I put months of recovery work in, I was still terrified of, yeah, but what if I panic in Paris? Well, I did, and nothing happened to me, and nothing will happen to you if you go 5 miles down the road, or onto that motorway, or into that place where you're confined on that motorway and you haven't been for years, you've avoided it. Nothing's gonna happen to you, nothing will happen to you either. So that's it, guys. I hope some people gained some sort of I don't know, maybe you want to call it some sort of inspiration towards going through your own recovery, because I really don't want to make these videos just to reassure people. I'd love to make these videos that people get up out of bed, get up and put their runners on and do something about the position they are in their lives, to finally go towards that fear with discipline and consistency. That's what I love from these videos. Not for you to sit and listen to them, make a cup of tea, listen to it and stay there. You can do that for a while, but eventually then go do it. Go get your life back. Go work on yourself for a couple of months, something that you haven't done ever since you've been in this disorder. Okay? So listen, always much love to everyone going through this. You know that people who, you know, I've said it plenty of times, people who are struggling like this and struggled like me for many years, you'll always have a special place in my heart. I don't know who you are. I don't know if I'll never even meet you, but just, I know lots of people are struggling, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys, for people struggling. You always have just that special place in your heart for people who are struggling with horrible panic attacks and agoraphobia, anxiety disorders. You know, you feel for them. You know what it's like to go through, and it's mental torture sometimes. But yeah, sending everybody love, and again, I'm going to be consistent on this, and I'm going to bring the best information possible from my own recovery to YouTube for you guys to, I guess, pinpoint and, you know, try add towards your own recovery. So I'll leave it at that, guys, and I'm going to post this soon. Take care.